Black Friday is everywhere right now, right? So you have discounts everywhere. You have all these brands and stores offering their products at really, really good prices. And I assume that if you run an online store, you have some sort of special or discount or deal going on yourself. Now in today's video, I want to dig a little bit deeper and tell you about my experiences with Black Friday, both this Black Friday, last one, 2 years ago, whatever, and give you some of the sort of hidden notes that I realized occur on Black Friday over and over and over again, especially if you're a small business owner, because I believe things are actually not that great and amazing and awesome as they're always shown in many videos. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video and let me share my experiences with Black Friday with you. So first things first, yes, Black Friday can be very powerful for your business. You can literally make 1, 2, even 3 months worth of sales in that very short Black Friday, Cyber Monday period in this holiday season, basically. But this has some limitations. Like, first of all, these very big brands and stores like Amazon, of course, they make a ton of money in that period. They have so many customers, they sell so many products, that's just crazy. Then we have brands that want to actually get loyal customers. We have e-commerce stores that are branded that use Black Friday to actually get loyal customers, to get long-term customers, maximize customer lifetime value, etc. In these cases, it is all great. And also, if you have a different store, like a general store or something, if you do your things right, then you can make significant sales and also profits on Black Friday. But here's the thing, right? What I noticed all the time with Black Friday over and over again is that if you have a small e-commerce store, especially a general store, but also like just a store that is reselling products, right? Without having your own brand or something like that, you are very, very dependent on the first initial sale. So the typical general dropshipping store doesn't really have returning customers. It doesn't really have high customer lifetime value. You normally make 1 sale per customer and that's it. Maybe very occasionally you make more, but I think we can all agree on the fact that a typical general store doesn't really have a loyal customer base. And also, if you're just a small online store that is reselling stuff without its own brand, without being a very sort of deep niche store, that's the same thing, right? You have this one initial sale, this has to be profitable, and that's it. So when we talk about back-end and customer lifetime value and selling multiple products to customers over and over again, that's something that's just unrealistic for most general stores or reselling stores, etc. So then on Black Friday, we have the following problem. On the one hand, cost per clicks are really going up because you have all those brands spending money. Cost per click goes up by 10, 20, 30, 50, 100% sometimes. Depends on your niche, of course, as well. I have cases where prices are actually going down a little bit, but across the board, the CPCs are really, really rising. That's the one thing. On the other hand, we have the pressure that customers expect crazy discounts. So you cannot just sell at your normal rate on Black Friday, or you can try that, maybe you're lucky and it works, but people are expecting crazy discounts and they're on the hunt for these discounts. So you have pressure to reduce your prices at the same time. So you have to pay more per click, you have to reduce your prices at the same time, which is not really a great combination, as you can already imagine. But you have to do these things just in order to compete in the best possible way. Now, if you are a brand that wants to acquire a customer that it can sell to over and over and over again and maximize customer lifetime value, that's not that big of a deal, because you may acquire like 5,000 new customers on the Black Friday holiday season, or 10,000 or 1,000, and that's then a good thing for you. Maybe you are profitable on the front end, or at least a little bit profitable, then later on you sell them over and over again, but you have 1,000 or 10,000 new customers, and that's great. If you are a very large online store, then of course, you know, the whole numbers game works a little bit different for you anyway, and maybe you're selling even more products at the same time. But if you're a small store, a small like general store, reselling store, without branding, without having a very specific niche, etc., first of all, you will have a very hard time maximizing your average order value. You cannot, in a general store, you don't sell people 5 completely unrelated products, right? Because there is not that much of a selection here. On Amazon, people can buy all kinds of stuff because there is everything. In a niche store, they buy multiple things because they're all related. But if you have a general store with limited products that are all unrelated, there is not that much for a customer to buy. So they typically buy one product, the one that you have been advertising on Google, for example, Google Shopping. Click prices have gone up, so the cost per acquisition may be quite high. And the average order, or the order value, is relatively low because of the discounts. This means that maybe your profit on that was 0 or very, very low, and the customer will most likely not buy something later on. right? So here we have the problem now that you acquire a customer for more money, it's more expensive, you make less money per sale, unless, as I said, you upsell everything very well, etc., which can also be the case. But this means that yes, on Black Friday, you may make more volume, right? People are talking about, hey, I made 100K in volume here, but what's the profit here? So maybe in this holiday season, you make 5 times more volume than you normally do, but like half the profits all in all, or even quarter the profits. That's actually something that I realized with many people that I have been working with, many people that have been messaging me. I have clients, of course, where we did insane numbers on Black Friday and also extremely profitable, right? But a lot of people that I talked to and that also partly I worked with, I realized that Black Friday is not for everyone. And I think that's sort of the key essence here. Yes, it can work very well if you know how to upsell, cross-sell, etc. If you have a store that works accordingly, where you can sell multiple products, where you have solid margins, so especially high ticket and stuff. But especially if you have fairly small margins, then you have even more pressure to reduce the prices. Then you have high CPCs. Chances are you are just left with $1 profit per sale, $5 profit. Maybe you are even in the negative. Then you sell a lot, which means you are even deeper in the negative, or you have like 5,000 purchases, but none of them is, none of these purchases is really profitable. Now you have 5,000 customers that you have to deal with. You have to fulfill the orders. Some of them want a refund. So now you have a lot of work for very little profits, and maybe ultimately after refunds and everything, you may even be on a loss. So that's just the thing about Black Friday when you run a small e-commerce operation, reselling, general store, something like that, where customer lifetime value plays no role, where you have fairly low profit margins, and where you don't sell a lot of products at the same time, right? So probably I was repeating myself now several times, but just to sort of, as a little recap, Black Friday is great if you have really good margins. If you're a large store that can do a lot of stuff with deep pockets, etc., you can outperform other competitors. If you can really upsell properly, so if you can like sell 2, 3, 4 pieces on average because of the way your inventory is mixed up, and if you want to acquire long-term customers, and many of them at once, because of the volume that you can achieve on Black Friday. But it's very difficult if you are a general store that typically just sells 1 product per customer, right? Because upselling is not that easy in a general store. Then it will be very tough. If you have very, very thin margins, because then you're just like breaking even or making a loss. Again, if you want to acquire a long-term customer, that's fine. But if you're a general store or reseller, probably that's not really realistic. Yeah, and basically just if you don't manage to get the overall numbers up, if you don't manage to maximize AOV, if you don't manage to keep all that stuff, then you are just paying more on Black Friday than you can afford, basically. And you are telling yourself, I make this crazy volume, but profits are missing. You get no value from those customers long term. And that's why I have seen a lot of people that are losing a lot of money on Black Friday, or they're simply making nothing. So what's sort of the takeaway here, right? I'm not saying that you should stop advertising on Black Friday from now on, but for example, for next Black Friday, I recommend that you think about how's your store, like what's your store made of? Like what's the key thing about your store? Like what are you trying to do? What is your goal? And then you decide, okay, do I really take on that right? Do I really say, hey, I want to invest $10,000 in ads this Black Friday holiday? Or do you maybe think, okay, if I'm honest with myself, Black Friday is not really the right thing for me because of my margins, because of how my store is made up. So I probably keep my spend fairly low. I don't participate in that crazy time where people expect discounts and CPCs go up. And you rather like save your money, and after Black Friday is over, you just continue just the very normal way. So I hope that this was a little bit helpful. As I said, Black Friday can be fantastic for your business. It can be awesome if you made a lot of money now, of course. This is all fine, but I know that there are a lot of people out there who struggle participating in Black Friday profitably, and I think that's a very important thing to learn here, that it's not always the best thing to do to try to make as many sales as possible if the bottom line is not looking accordingly. So I hope this video was helpful. As I said, I've been repeating myself several times in that video, but the point I wanted to make is very important. So please leave a like if you enjoyed that, if it was helpful in some way, and please subscribe if you want to see more e-commerce, dropshipping, and especially also Google Ads content on this channel. Let me know in the comments how Black Friday has been going for you so far. Have you been making a lot of sales, a lot of profits? Like what's the result for you at this point in time with Black Friday? Would be very interesting to know. And now I hope that you subscribe to this channel so that I will see you in the next video again, guys. Bye-bye.